The idea for this video came from Patrician's TV video. Patrician TV is a YouTuber who talks about video games, and he made some huge analysis videos, reviews about Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, and also other games. But it's after his Morrowind video that I came up with that idea. When he talks about storytelling and the ability to immerse yourself into the story, where small things can really elevate a situation and can bring the stakes down a bit and can make you feel more immersed into the broader story. Ideally, you will see now me playing Morrowind and doing a quest. I don't like the word quest because people usually think about quests as, things in a grindy MMORPG. More of a request from someone. I'm doing a request from my guild. I believe, it was the House Hlalu. So it is a faction within the Morrowind universe, right? The Morrowind Elder Scrolls universe. And you will see me stumbling a lot with a very simple quest they have, because what I am supposed to do here is to find a place, and Morrowind is a game where you do not have a quest marker. You are given directions by people who live there, like go here southeast of this town, past the crossroad, then turn right when you see this thing, right? And like now, after I've beat this quest, I'm looking at the footage, and it's quite funny because I made some very stupid mistakes and I was stumbling a lot. I was trying to find the path and I was unable to find the location, not because it was badly written, because it was my fault, right? And I didn't read that with enough detail, and I was doing something else, so I was distracted and I was lost for a moment. But then I finally found my way to the place that I was supposed to go to. And small moments like this can really elevate an experience. I know it may sound like it's mostly about video games or games overall, because the audience experience is very important. When you tell a linear story, when you watch a movie or read a book, the story is linear, right? You do not have a different type of experience from a specific type of medium that is linear, because it's always the same. You always watch the same movie. If you watch Lord of the Rings, you always have the exact same scenes and the exact same things happening on the screen every single time when you watch the exact same movie. Sure, we have different version of the movie, but that's not the case. That's not what I meant, right? You don't have the version of the movie where Aragorn decided to not help Frodo, right? That's what I mean, that video games have this power over linear stories. But you can also use it in linear stories. Small things that are within the realm of the universe. There's nothing wrong with stopping for a moment and appreciating something, or even struggling for a moment, right? The hero's journey needs suffering. But every single hero needs to suffer to achieve something. If you have a hero who never ever suffers any defeat, any failure, or anything, then it's very hard to be within the skin of that hero. It's hard to understand that hero. And I'm not talking about feeling like the hero, right? So it's not like he is like you or she is like you. A good example of that, you have characters who are quote-unquote perfect, but they have their own struggles, and if they are portrayed correctly, it's very immersive to understand a character. A good example of that is Mass Effect 2 and 3, with the character of Miranda. Miranda is, for those who don't know, Miranda is a character in the Mass Effect universe it's a science fiction universe. She was biologically and genetically engineered by her very wealthy father to be the perfect woman, right? She is beautiful. She was min-maxed, IRL, min-maxed in terms of genetic stuff and all that, to have all the great qualities of a great human being to achieve greatness, right? She was given the best genes to be beautiful and attractive towards men. She's very good at social skills. She also have the skills of bionics. Bionics are like special powers in this universe that are like scientific, like imagine magic, but it's scientific. that's what it is. She's also very good at being a leader and organizing in administration and fighting. She's competent, not like hugely amazing at fighting, but she's competent at fighting. She is good at a lot of stuff. Like she is well balanced and very good at many things because someone engineered her to be that way. And you think, like, how can I feel sympathy for that person? Like I that's not me. I do not relate to it. But she have different issues. Like her issue, which is like she's really well written. Her issue is that she can never fully take pride of what she achieved, because she can never understand if something that she achieved is something that she did with her own skill set and with her own determination, or is it because someone biologically engineered her to succeed at everything. And it's very difficult for her because it's very difficult for her to take pride in her work, because she see every single achievement that she managed to do. She is perfect in terms of being biologically engineered. So is it her achievement, or is it her genes and her father's achievement? And that's something that she struggles a lot with, especially when it comes to relationship. That's also the same case. Like if the main character, because you can have a romance with her, and she also is she feel very strange about it, because she don't know if you actually care for her as a human being, or because she's just genetically engineered and biologically engineered to be very attractive and have a very good set of qualities to attract high status man, right? Because you play as a hero, and you can romance her if you play as a male. And small things like that can really elevate a story, even if something is world ending and world shattering. Of course, I gave the example for a character. Remember, I have no script for this, so it's not like I have something prepared for you. It's just like a train of thought, right? And what I often see with... No, let me think, okay? I don't want just to talk. Just talk for the sake of talking. What I meant with this example of, struggling a bit, that gives a sense of catharsis when you actually manage to succeed, even at something small. And without, if we are talking of course about video games, without a quest marker and things that make your life more convenient, you will never appreciate something mundane. Like for example, now when it comes to video games, they are not designed to make you explore more by yourself, because, well, you have a map unlocked, you have quest markers that show you important locations, And why, what is the point? Like, there is no reason for you to do that. Of course, you can force yourself to. There are people who do that, but the game does not naturally lead you to it, right? And with linear stories, there's a lot of things you can do to use this level of non-convenience. But for example, portraying someone's character, because something that writers do when they are not experienced is that they don't know how to portray someone's backstory or someone's character traits without saying them outright or out loud, or them being very obnoxious. Like, for example, this person is aggressive towards X person, X type of people, right? Because of some prejudice. So they will be very, very clear about it and very loud about it without, and it would look like they are just very dumb, prejudiced people. And don't get me wrong, there are people like that, absolutely. But writing characters like that is not very interesting, unless you want to do something with it. But usually those things are not planned. Usually people are just not really good at hiding those things. And it's really nice to suggest things through dialogue, or sometimes through the lack of it, or just a simple glance, or giving, allowing your audience to guess something by themselves without telling them, yeah, that's the backstory of that character, and that's the reason why they act like this in this particular circumstance. No, it's actually better to just make them act in a specific way, and try to hide it, and not, but they are not that good at hiding it, or maybe they are good at hiding it. It would take a lot of effort to, when you actually either watch a movie or read a book, a story, to actually make them, to actually leave some very, very, very small breadcrumbs. But you don't need to explain it, just to suggest some things. Of course, I would still, highly, highly recommend to have that invented. Don't just put, because that's also something that I see quite often. People putting the mystery boxes, right? So putting things that made you think, isn't it? But turns out that there's nothing behind it, because they just wanted to hype up a character. That happened in the Ahsoka series, or Ashoka, I don't know how to pronounce her, Star Wars series, where you have the character of Balin, who always say like mysterious things. He's a Sith, but then he sometimes says something, that's not what they tell me, or I don't remember the exact quotes, but people were saying that he's a great character because there's something deep beneath him, beneath his character traits, and he does what he does because of some unknown stuff. And it is interesting at first, but then you realize that they have no idea. Like, they just wrote him to say mysterious stuff, but there is nothing behind them, which is hilarious, because that's a very cheap way to make people interested in a character. Where, for example, if you compare it to Kreia, I would say, main character of KOTOR 2, my favorite story of all times, which I will make a video at one point going very, very deep into it, because I watched a lot of reviews of KOTOR 2. Not a single one managed to get as deep as I think this game deserves to, especially in terms of how amazingly written the characters are, and the entire plot of the story. It's so good. Sorry, I cannot just not gush over how bloody amazing KOTOR 2 story is, even though it was really cut and the game was very unfinished. Anyway, that's all for now. I would highly recommend you to play Morrowind, especially with the Tamriel Rebuild mod, which add a lot of very good content, in addition to the baseline content. If you like RPGs, or even if you don't like RPGs, but you are a writer who wants to immerse himself more and try to create characters within this fictional universe to understand them better and try to think through their lenses and eyes, I would highly recommend Morrowind, and never ever look at guides, and just act like you are a person living in this world and not a gamer in a video game. That way you will have much more enjoyment through Morrowind, because I used to not like Morrowind. That's funny. I didn't like Morrowind at first, but then actually watched the first time the Patrician video, and I would absolutely agree with him that there is a correct way to play things. By correct, I mean the way it was intended to, which you can, take the most out of it. So that's how I would recommend you to play. Especially if you have no experience with video games, that would be great, because then you will not be corrupted by modern trends of video games, and you will not play on autopilot. Just imagine you are inside this world and not act like a video game person who min-max. Just create any character. Don't try to make the most optimal character ever who's the most OP. The baseline difficulty is fine. Like, you don't need to mess with it if you want to play. And just act like you live in this world, and you will see that the game is very immersive that way and actually designed around that. Yeah, so that's all for today. See you when I see you.